The horrific mass murder in Atlanta is haunting me this week, and for multiple reasons. 8 people were killed. 6 of them were women of Asian American descent. This isn't a random shooting. It's an example of the endemic disease of racism in America. On Monday, I took an hour and went for a walk in my neighborhood just to clear my head at the end of the day. On the Cross Kirkland Trail, I came across the sign that you should be seeing now at an old train station that has been turned into a historical marker. I must have walked past this 50 times in the past 2 years and never noticed it. So my gut reaction to George Floyd's murder was immediate and strong. America's terrible history of how we treat Black people is brutal. This was but one of the most recent examples. Black, Indigenous, and people of color have to teach their children lessons I never had to teach mine. This is the privilege and the advantage of white dominant culture. The Atlanta shooting, though, reminded me that Asian members of our society, and particularly Asian women, swim in the same pool of racism and misogyny that other Black, Indigenous, and people of color do, but they're often overlooked, ignored, or remain invisible. The sign got to me. It took me a while to process it and figure out why. Just like I didn't have to teach my children how to behave when they encountered a police officer, I never had to worry about my family being rounded up and sent to a detention camp. In an amazing statement of their belief in the promise of America, 1,500 Japanese men whose families were interned served in the 442nd Infantry Regiment, the most decorated unit of its size in U.S. military history. They protected freedom in Europe while their families were interned in Idaho. All the while, the cesspool of racism in America walked calmly past and accepted signs just like this and the injustice they represent all over the Northwest. It's up to all of us to make the promise of America the reality of America. Our agency has centered equity in our strategic plan and is taking actions to make our part of the country more equitable. For example, we just created a review process to ensure that all assessments in our work don't exacerbate racial disparity. This means the core safety assessment in child welfare, the assessment that determines the length of sentence for youth in JR, many other critical decisions that should make the world more equitable, not less. In both of these examples, our current tools just don't meet this goal. They don't meet the standard. This is a pretty deep restructuring of our practice in both these areas. It's central to what we're trying to get done. The Racial Equity and Social Justice Group is hosting an AAPI gathering today and next week an AAPI ally gathering for those who stand in solidarity with AAPI. Link to the ResJ page from the written version of these remarks. I'll be attending the ally gathering. Let's make sure we're not only thinking about racial equity when there's a mass shooting or a police killing, though. Thank you. Stay safe.